Welcome back. My name is Krysta French and this is my yoga channel. Today I'll be taking you through a 30-minute class designed to stretch out any tightness in the hips and legs while giving you a full body flow. So when you're ready, come join me on the mat. So coming to stand at the top of our mats with the hands pressing together in front of the heart, begin to lengthen the spine. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths here. Just settling into the pose, letting your feet ground a little bit more. Big breath in. Exhale, maybe sigh it out, finding some release. And then when you're ready, reach your arms up overhead, palms press. Exhale to fold in half, let it go. Inhale to a flat back and lower the hands, step it back. Find plank pose, lower the knees, chest, and chin, and then scoop forward into a baby cobra or regular cobra. And then exhale, press back, find a child's pose. So as you find that child's pose, really lengthen through the spine here. From here, toes tuck under, press all the way back for our first downward facing dog. Begin to pedal the heels. You can shift the weight through the hips, bicycling the knees, circling the ankles around. Just getting any kind of tension out of the legs. Maybe shake the head out, yes and no. Just get comfortable. Grounding down here. And then gaze comes forward. Step or float up to the front, lengthen the spine, flat back. Exhale, we're folding over, Uttanasana. Inhale, arms reach high, palms press, Urdhva Hastasana. Hands come down through the heart and down to the sides. Inhale, reach up, lengthen. Exhale, swan dive over, fold in half. Inhale to your flat back and lower the hands. Step it back to your plank pose, this time lower to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog as you exhale. And keep in mind, you can always skip your vinyasas. You can always sub them out for child's pose. You never have to take all of them. So just do what works best for your body. Gaze comes forward. Step or float up and lengthen to your flat back. Exhale, we're folding. Inhale, arms reach high, palms press up overhead. Lower the hands down through the heart and down to the sides. Lengthen the spine. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale to your flat back. And hands come down, step or float back to chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha, upward facing. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. How's the breath here? So see if you can even the breath out. Lengthen it, maybe even connecting with your Ujjayi breath, that ocean sounding breath. Constricting the back of the throat, breathing in and out of the nose. Gaze comes forward, step or float up and lengthen to your flat back. Exhale, we're folding over. Inhale, arms reach high, press the palms up overhead. Hands lower down through the heart and down to the sides. From here, reach up again, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward, let it go. Inhale, lengthen, flat back. Hands down, step or float back. Take your vinyasa. We're meeting back, downward facing dog. Lengthening out the legs. Maybe shaking the head out a little bit. Relaxing through the jaw. And trying to take a little bit of pressure out of the wrist by putting more pressure into the fingers and the pads of the fingers. Gaze comes forward. Step or float up and lengthen. Exhale, we're folding. Inhale, arms reach high, palms press. Hands lower through the heart and down to the sides. Inhale, take a seat this time. Find your chair pose, Utkatasana. Get heavy in your hips, weights back in the heels, and then exhale to fold forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine, flat back. Lower the hand, step or float back. Take your vinyasa. So meeting in downward facing dog, reach your right leg high, step it up by the right hand, back heel down, reach up, warrior one. So pressing firmly into that right knee. And then lower the hands as you exhale to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog as you exhale. Inhale, left leg lifts. Step it forward, right into warrior one. Arms reach. Maybe those palms press as you lengthen, pressing equally into the feet. And then lower the hands. Step back. Vinyasa is yours, meeting back down dog when you're ready. Nice steady breath. Full inhales, full exhales. Letting your heels drop a little bit deeper, making sure to bend the knees if you need that. Maybe the hamstrings are kind of tight today. And then gaze comes forward, step or float up to your flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, take a seat back, find your chair pose, Utkatasana, and then come all the way up. Hands come down through the heart and down to the sides. From here, hands at your hips, separate the feet, inner hips width. Inhale to lift the heart, and exhale, we're folding. Grab hold of your big toes and then fold over the legs. Feel free to soften your knees as much as you need to. Your elbows are pulling wide. Crown of the head is reaching down, so Padangustasana, shifting more of the weight forward into the balls of the feet. So that's really going to help get into the hamstrings. We want to come from a place of bent knees first and then working to straighten the legs. From here, release, find a flat back, and then flip your palms for Padahastasana, our hand to foot pose. So the hands slide all the way under the feet. Again, start with bent knees and then fold over. Shift the weight into the wrist. So you're getting a nice counter stretch for all those chaturangas. Elbows are wide, crown of the head is reaching down. Really big stretch through the hamstrings. Full steady breath. Keep shifting forward, release what you have, find your flat back. And then from here, take the fingertips down, walk your feet out a little bit for Malasana. So soften your knees and sink the hips all the way to the floor. The palms are together in front of the heart. So you can plug your elbows into the inner thighs, lifting the heart space a little bit more, rolling your chest open, getting deeper into the hips. From here, lower the hands down, lift your hips, and then find a nice shoulder stretch by taking the hands over the low back, interlacing your fingers, and pulling your hands away from the body. Release what you have, find a flat back. Exhale, fold, and inhale, arms reach up. Hands lower through the heart and down to the sides. Inhale, reach up. This time, find a little baby back bend. Exhale to fold over. Inhale to a flat back and lower the hands. The left foot steps back as you drop the knee. Untuck the toes. Press your hips forward. You can take the hands at that right thigh as you reach the heart open, or you can sweep your arms all the way up and back. You might even interlace all but your index finger and thumb, trying to wiggle the upper arm bones behind the ears, getting a deeper opening in the back. From here, lower your hands, slide your hips back just to lengthen that right leg. So really nice hamstring stretch for that right leg. If you're choosing to flex your foot, right, pulling the toes back towards you, you're going to feel this in the hamstrings. If you're choosing to point your toes down, you'll feel this in the front part of your shin. And you can go back and forth, flexing or pointing. From here, we're going to bend that right knee, coming into a version of our lizard pose. So the hands come on the inside. And then if you want to go deeper, back toes tuck under, we're lifting that back knee for a more active lizard pose. From here, step back into plank, and then take your vinyasa. Nice, full, steady breath. So meeting in down dog, reach your right leg high, and then step it up to find warrior two. So the back heel spins to the floor, arms reach out onto a T. The gaze drops over the right middle finger. Soften your shoulders. Press that front knee open so it's not collapsing in toward the big toe. And then flip the right palm, reach it back for revolved warrior. Continue to press into that right knee. From here, that right arm is going to sweep down on the inside of that the right foot. reach that left arm forward. So finding extended side angle pose. If that's too intense, you can always place the elbow on the thigh. Come back up to warrior two, straighten the leg. Reach over and find triangle pose. So Utthita Trikonasana, extending that left arm nice and long. And you might take the gaze up toward that top thumb if it feels okay on your neck. From here, root down to rise up. Both feet turn to the side. Hands at your hips and fold in half. Inhale to a flat back and exhale, we're folding. Stay folded here. So the crown of the head is reaching down, getting a nice stretch through the legs, getting all this good fresh blood down into your head. From here, walk the fingers forward again. Find your flat back and lengthen. Hands at the hips, root down to rise up. Right toes are going to turn forward as you spin your hip bones to the front and lower the back knee. Hands come to the heart, twist toward the right side, hooking the left elbow over the thigh, giving it a press. The left toes are going to tuck under as you lift the back knee for a deeper version of this lunge. If that's too deep, you can always lower the back knee. From here, untwist and then reach up for your crescent lunge. Lower the hands and then step that left foot in about halfway onto your mat. So shifting the hip bones forward, reach the spine long and then fold over that right leg. So finding our pyramid pose. So we want to make sure that both heels are rooting down into the mat. So that back heel is firmly down. Trying to work toward squared hips, finding that length through the right hamstrings, and then start to soften that right knee. Walk the fingers forward and then just step that left knee behind the right foot, working into a twist. So a seated twist, that right knee is up, we're twisting toward the right side. So right hand's behind you, left arm is hooking across the thigh. Lengthen as you inhale. Exhale, find a deeper version of this twist, looking back over your shoulder. From here, begin to untwist, walk it over toward the left side, take a little counter twist. Bow over, come back up, and then lower the hands down in front of you. So we're working into that right foot. Press the right foot down, stretch the left leg nice and high all the way up toward the sky, working into your standing split. From here, we're bending that right knee, stepping the left foot back, high lunge. So kind of a funky transition. Lower the hands, step back to plank, and take your vinyasa. Remember, vinyasas are always optional. Everything in this practice is optional. Steady the breath. Gaze comes forward. Step or float up to find your flat back. Exhale, we're folding. Inhale, arms stretch high, palms press. Hands lower through the heart and down to the sides. So steady balance. Inhale, reach up, take your little back bend, open the heart, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale to find your flat back. This time the hands come down, right foot steps back, drop the knee. Find your low lunge here. The hands can come at that front thigh, or if it feels good, reach your arms all the way up and back. Trying to wiggle the upper arm bones behind the ears, pressing the heart and the hips forward. Big breath here. As you exhale, lower the hands, transitioning into our half splits. Lengthen just that left leg. So make sure that you're not sitting back on that back heel. We want to keep the hips lifted as we fold over that left leg. So Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. You can flex the foot, you can point your toes, do what feels right. And then when you're ready, bend your knee, take the hands on the inside of the foot for a variation of our lizard pose, a more passive one with the back knee down for a moment. Just getting into the hips. When you're ready, back toes tuck under, lift the back knee, finding your full active lizard pose. Round down through the hands, step into your plank, and take your vinyasa. Meeting in downward facing dog. Steady breath, reach your left leg high and step it up in between your hands. The back heel down, reach all the way out for warrior two. So we're working with heel to arch alignment. So that means our left heel is in line with that right arch. Stay strong in your body and then revolve your warrior. Continue to press into that front knee, open through the side body. From here, come back and then work right into extended side angle pose. So the variation I'm taking today is lowering the left hand on the inside of the foot, rotating the ribs open, trying to create a straight line from fingertip to heel. From here, root down to rise back up, and then straighten that front leg right into Trikonasana, triangle pose. And maybe following that top palm if it feels okay with your neck to take your gaze up. Root down and rise up. Both feet turn to the side. Drop the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, lift your heart, look up. And exhale, we're folding in half. So as you fold here, try to keep the grip with the hands. You can shift a little bit of weight forward into the balls of the feet. So getting into the shoulders, nice big stretch there. Steady breath, calm mind. Root down and rise all the way back up. Release your hands and shoulders. Give it a little shake. Left toes can turn forward. Square the hip bones to the front. Take the hands together in front of the heart and find your twist over to the left side. So dropping that back knee down to start. And then when you're ready, the back knee starts to lift off the ground for a high twisted lunge. Stay strong in the legs. Keep the core strong. Keep breathing. And then we'll slowly untwist. Reach your arms all the way up, full crescent. Lower the hands down. And then step that right foot halfway up the mat for pyramid pose. Lengthen the spine and fold over the legs. So you can keep those fingertips down onto the ground. We're trying to make sure that both heels are firmly grounding down. That's going to help with your balance here. How's the breath? Always checking back in. Walk the fingertips forward. Shift the weight into that left knee as you bend it, and that right knee comes behind the foot for a twisted, just a seated twist here. So left hand's behind you, right arm hooks over that thigh. Reach your spine long as you inhale, and then exhale, we're twisting off to the left side. Steady breath, calm mind. From here, untwist, walk your hands over to the opposite side, take a little counter twist, bow over, and then come back up. The hands come down in front of the foot. Left foot takes the weight as you reach that right leg nice and high. So standing split. When you're ready, step that right foot all the way back, high lunge. So get grounded in the feet, opening through the chest, feeling expansive. Lower the hands, step back, take your vinyasa. How's your breath? Relax across your forehead and then come down. Find an easy child's pose. So any variation of child's pose that works for you today. You might roll your forehead back and forth. When you're ready, we're coming up onto the knees and the shins, working into our camel pose. So start by tucking the toes under. Take the hands behind you at the low back. And then inhale, begin to lift your heart. Roll your collarbones open. Draw your elbows closer toward one another. Press the hip bones forward and tip the gaze back. So opening the throat, the neck, the chest. Come all the way back up. Finding neutral. We're going to do that again. And this time you might reach your hands back toward the heels if you want more. So reaching the heart open, then tipping on back. So up to you if you're reaching back or keeping the hands supporting the back. From here, come all the way back up to neutral. We'll take one more round. When you're ready, inhale, lift. And then exhale, slowly start to come on back. Pressing those hip bones forward, trying to maintain the hips over the knees. Slowly take it back. Drop the hips to the heels. Find child's pose, Balasana. Nice, steady, full breath. Walk your hands forward. Begin to shift all the way back. Find downward facing dog. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Step it up and work it right into your pigeon pose. So half pigeon, the shin and the knee come down. Square the hip bones forward and lengthen that back leg. Inhale to come up on the fingers. And then exhale, we're lowering down. So keep in mind, we want to work towards even hips here. So if you're finding that you're completely rocking onto that right hip, you might want to support your right hip with a block or a blanket. And finding some stillness here. You may lower the forehead down onto your hands. Notice here where there's tension, where there's resistance and stress, and try to really breathe into those areas, letting them soften, letting them go. We'll come back up onto the fingers and begin to bend the left knee. Catch the foot behind you. Slowly work that foot a little bit closer towards you. So opening through the heart. Nice full breath, getting into the quad, getting into the hip flexor. Just noticing how that feels. Another big breath here. When you're ready, release the foot and take the hands down, back toes tuck under, sweep the right leg high, finding three-legged dog, roll around the knee, the hip, and the ankle. And then this time, left leg lifts high, shift it right into your half pigeon. So back leg lengthens, squaring the hip bones toward the front, reaching the heart open, lengthening. And then as you exhale, starting to walk it on down. So full, steady breath. Noticing how this side of the body might be very different than the other side, and that is okay. And come back to your breath. Notice if you can let go a little bit more. And eventually we'll come back up onto the hands, lift the chest, lift the heart. Begin to bend your right knee, catch your foot behind you. Slowly work that foot a little bit closer towards you. We're working on squaring the hip bones toward the front. So getting into the right quad and the right hip flexor. Full, steady breath. And take another breath here. And then we'll release the foot. Hands come down to frame the shin, and then tuck the back toes under, reach that left leg high, roll it around. Nice big stretch. Come back into your down dog. Gaze comes forward. We're stepping or floating the feet through. If you have a jump through, you can do that. Working right onto our sits bones. And then we're going to come around to the side of the mat, working right into our frog pose. So Mandukasana. So you want to be lengthwise just to support the knees. We're going to take the knees nice and wide. So wide enough that you're actually feeling a little bit of sensation here. And then look down at your shins. Make sure that they're parallel with each other. If you need to take a look up at the screen, now's a good time. You can flex your feet so the toes are pointing in opposite directions. And then reach your heart forward. From here, we're going to press the hips back toward the heels. So the deeper you press your hips toward your heels, the deeper the stretch is going to be. You can stay on your forearms or come up onto the hands if it's too deep. And it is a really deep stretch through the inner hips and groin, so just be careful. We'll slowly come out of that. We're going to come back onto our sits bones, lengthening the legs out, giving them a nice big shake. And then working right into Janu Sirsasana. So right leg extends, left foot comes in. Inhale, the arms lift, and exhale, we're folding over. So reaching the hands over toward the right foot. It's okay if your hands don't touch your foot. It's just a foot. So belly is pulling over the thigh. Full steady breath. And to take this a little bit differently, you can take the left hand across the right foot toward the outer pinky toe edge of that right foot. Kind of a little twist there. Feeling that slightly in the lower back. Nice little stretch there. And we'll release that. Come back up onto the fingers, open the chest, switching legs. So right foot comes into the inner thigh, left leg is extended, and then fold over that leg. So reaching the heart over. So trying to place the belly on top of the thigh. And again, don't worry if the hands don't touch the foot. They can touch the shin or even the thigh. It's all good. And then to take this a little bit differently, you're just going to take a little twist off to the left side. So right hand comes over to the pinky toe edge side of that left foot. We're reaching the torso over toward the side. From here, release what you have, come back up. Begin to extend the legs, give them a nice little shake. And then we're going to take the hands behind just for some support as you bend the right knee, finding a version of our double pigeon or our figure four pose, right? So you're taking the right foot over the left knee, flexing the foot and kind of rocking the hips side to side. Taking the knees, just kind of windshield wipering them side to side. And to go deeper, you're going to take that left foot, walk it over to the right side. So we're working knee over ankle, ankle over knee. And you can stay right where you are. You might have a lot of space in between the knee and the ankle. I do. It's okay. If you want to go deeper, if you have that flexibility in your hips, you can start to walk your hands forward. And if you still have more flexibility, you can even fold all the way over so the forehead is reaching down toward the floor. Take a few more breaths, and then we'll come back up, lengthen the legs, stretch them out. So other side, so hands come behind you. The left foot can come across the right knee. Flex your foot, just kind of rock the knees left and right, kind of like you're windshield wipering them. And then if that feels like your edge, just stay where you are. Right? If you want to go deeper into your full double pigeon, you're going to walk the right foot over to the left side. So ankle over knee, knee over ankle. Trying to work the shins to be parallel. So if we're looking at this from a bird's eye view, we're only seeing one shin because they're stacked on top of each other. If you want to go deeper, you're going to walk your hands forward, start to fold your torso over the legs. Full steady breath. And then we'll come back up, place the feet down, windshield wiper the knees, get rid of any kind of tension in the hips. And then take the hands behind you, flat on the ground, lift your hips, lift the head all the way up and back. So table pose, or reverse table rather. And then lower the hips back down. Lengthen the legs. Inhale, the arms stretch high. Exhale, fold over. So Paschimottanasana, our seated forward fold. So just trying to seal everything in. So relaxing across your jaw, really getting into the hamstrings. So these forward folds are very calming for the body. And we'll come back up, finding bound angle pose, Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet come to touch. You can work the feet open, kind of like pages out of a book, and then reach your heart forward. The elbows plug into the inner thighs as you fold over the legs. So soften across your shoulders. And just getting into the hips, getting into the groin, opening up. And then we'll gently come back up, close the knees, and then start to lay all the way down on your back. Give the knees a nice big hug. And take little circles with the knees or rock them side to side, and then let them drop off to the right side. Your arms can open wide. Gaze drops to the left side. You might even keep the right hand on top of the knee, just working into a twist there. Try to get as much of that left shoulder down as you can. And then we'll come back to center, give them a hug. Let the knees fall to the left, gaze falls to the right. So nice, gentle spinal twist. Full, steady breath. And we'll bring it back to center, give the knees a nice big hug, and then find a happy baby. So the hands come around the outer edges of the feet, press the knees nice and wide, rock side to side, opening through the hips. When you're ready, extending the legs long, working into our Shavasana. Our quote today comes from Samuel Johnson, and he says, "Great works are performed not by strength, but by perseverance." So keeping your eyes closed, allow your breath to get bigger. Just let it fill your body up. And start to send some movement back into the fingers, the toes. You can reach up and take a big stretch. We're going to roll off to the side. Just cradling the knees in toward the chest. And eventually pressing all the way up, finding a comfortable seat. And before we seal our practice, we're going to stretch out our neck just a little bit. So reach your right hand down by the right side. Left hand comes around to the right ear. And take a little stretch. So reaching the left ear down toward the shoulder. Feeling a nice big stretch across the right side of the neck. So nice full deep breaths. Maybe you turn your chin a little bit up or down. And then release that, switch hands. So left hand's reaching off to the side. Right hand comes around the ear, pressing it down. Full steady breath. Big inhales, big exhales. Release the hands, interlace the fingers, place them at the back of your head. Reach your chin down toward your chest. You can kind of tilt your chin a little bit left and right. Just feeling a nice little stretch across the back side of the neck and trying to just settle into any sweet spots that you feel. Release the hands, start to roll your head in one direction. Take a few big circles, just getting rid of any kind of pops and cracks, and then switch directions. So full breath. And then start to roll your shoulders down the back, finding some stillness, noticing how the body feels. How's the breath? Inhale, stretch your arms all the way up overhead. Hands come down through the heart. Take a moment to thank yourself for choosing to practice, for choosing to honor yourself. And thank you all so much for sharing your own practice with me today. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining me for today's class. If you enjoyed this yoga video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you'll never miss a free yoga class. For more resources, you can check out KrystaFrench.com. Have a wonderful day. I will see you on the mat soon.